Hello YouTube, this is Dakota from Bowtied Media, and it is here, the third studio album from Porter Robinson. We had Worlds, we got Nurture, and now we've got Smile, and we're here to react to it, to a full album reaction. How this video is going to work is I'm going to go through every single song, even the songs that have been released up to this point, and listen through and then give my thoughts on each individual song, and at the very end, give my kind of first opinions and overall thoughts on the record as a whole. As we go through the songs, we will be skipping through a little bit to adhere by copyright law, so without any further ado, let's hop into it. Here we go, Porter Robinson. First track is Knock Yourself Out. So let's put the headphones on and go on a journey. Here we go. Also, perfect intro.
I threw my phone into the sea.
This is like a brilliant intro. Like, it's just like to like, this song kind of is this new era of Porter, at least what we've heard from the single so far, so.
And I'm everything you talk about. Knock yourself out.
So fun.
Don't know my schedule on the 5th. Bitch, I'm Taylor Swift. Got 100 million on my wrist. Physically sound. Why should you keep letting yourself be let down? 'Cause I'm everything you talk about.
It'd be very hard to actually knock yourself out. Oh, actually pretty easy. Just run into a wall, I guess, right? I don't know, never done it.
And little feeling in the back of my head. Big smile, got a drink in my head. I'm trying to do blue kind of face blends.
Okay, Knock Yourself Out, the first single, not the first single, the lead track of the album, and the third single, I believe, to be released, or no, second single, something like that. I don't actually remember at this point. I'm just excited the album's here, but yeah, so this is a fascinating one, particularly, no, I know this is the second one. This one is fascinating for a couple reasons. One is that when this was released, this kind of sort of determined the new style we were going for. Cheerleader and like Russian Roulette, both of those tracks of the 4 singles, kind of still had this bit of like an EDM-y, like still a very much electronic vibe to it and had that style. But this one was the first one where we're like, oh, we're kind of branching into like a little bit of like hyper pop, a little like digicore, like a little bit more of like this kind of bit pop, synth pop style that was a little bit different than what we were getting on some of the other tracks. And so I think this as a lead single is a great intro because now this establishes sort of where we're going and where I think the tone of the record's going to go at this point. My guess is there'll be more stuff that sounds like this and Kitsune Maison Freestyle rather than stuff that sounds like Cheerleader and Russian Roulette. That's my guess. I don't know if that'll be right. Who knows? We'll go, we'll see as the track list moves on. But this was an interesting one because at first I didn't really love it. This is one of the times where this was a make or break for a lot of people, was Knock Yourself Out for sure. Of when it came out, you're going, oh, wait a second. You're like, this is the new direction for sure now. And you're like, oh, is this the direction I like that Porter's going in? Because Porter historically changes it up all the time. And so this was a real pivotal track for a lot of people. And I'm really glad actually that this ended up being the first track of the album. And I think it works great. It's a great tone setter. Love the vibes of it. It's super fun and kind of just establishes where we're going, the kind of narratives that we're going to be following for the most part here. And yeah, so let's hop into the next track though. We got another one. I got 3. The first 3 are actually the main singles. So here we go. This is Cheerleader. Drums coming in eventually here. This is just such a fun song. Like, this is great, like, first single of the record too, that appeases both sides of the fan base.
It's not fair, 'cause I know you like the back of my hand. It's kinda sad how it's not your fault you're living in a madhouse. 'Cause if you're not mine, I'd rather see you burn alive.
A little harsh there, burned alive, you know, but that's the song.
It's
Porter song without a refrain here. Or bridge, I should say. This is a classic Porter style to like do this bridge final section that flips it around. That does the, oh no, what you thought it was going one way, flipping it around now. Now it's Porter that misses the fan.
It's not fair, 'cause I know you like the back of my hand. When you're not there.
Also classic Porter outro. Okay, Cheerleader, the first single to be released and the second of the track list. Oh, Cheerleader is my favorite song so far of the 4 singles, I should say, this being the first. And this really is the track that for sure gave a little bit of something to all the fan bases here. All eras of Porter kind of just love this song, I think, for the most part. Yes, it has that more kind of like J-pop style to it, again, with that kind of digicore and just like more like little hyper-pop inspiration. Not so much on that one, but still very much the core kind of electronic sound that a lot of people come to know and love Porter Robinson for. And I think in particular, I'm so fascinated to see where this track list ends up because this one and Russian Roulette are very similar in that it is more to that kind of EDM fan. It does that kind of twist on the bridge section and has that final big movement that is like a ramping up to a finale that kind of just cuts off at the very end. Both this track and Russian Roulette do that, whereas Kitsune, Maison, Freestyle, and Knock Yourself Out are also they're a lot more like hyperpop oriented and a lot more like digicore sound, and it just feels, they feel like two separate entities, like two different styles particularly. And so I'm very fascinated to see what the rest of the record's gonna sound like. Again, I think it'll sound more like Knock Yourself Out rather than the Cheerleader Russian Roulette style, but only time will tell. So Cheerleader, I loved off first rip. I couldn't stop playing the previews that was all over Instagram or whatever. Just that core, that melody is burned in my soul and I love it so much. It is such a fun song. The narrative is great too. The whole like talking about the parasocial relationships, I think it's brilliant. And this is just peak Porter, so. But speaking of peak Porter, let's hop into our next track. This is Russian Roulette, which is also, I see here, there's 3 explicit tracks, and these are the 3 runs of them right here. So, excuse me, I'm curious to see where we go here. But yeah, Russian Roulette. Let's hop into it, the longest song of the album. Let's do it. Now, so before we get anywhere, I love this music video. I think it's brilliant. And fun fact, I'm in it twice, which is super, super fun and like honoring. I know it wasn't Porter that did another editor, but I think this whole era is fantastic. This music video is no exception. So it's great. And this is a reference to Sad Machine right here. So.
And she's right, it depends on me.
That's the name of the album, Smile. This synth sound is like this era of Porter. Like this synth sound is that era in a nutshell.
The big new thing.
Best line right here.
YouTube review.
This.
Funny monkey takes a piss into his own mouth. Crazy.
I love that line. The classic Porter Bridge. The classic. I mean, dogs are better, but that's okay. I love this outro. It's so funny.
Coming to a close. That's the full. Take, for example, this chord progression. Don't kill yourself, you idiot.
Oh, okay. Russian Roulette. Fantastic track. So far of the three, or I guess of the four singles, I should say. This is my second favorite. I think this is great. This is the one sort of, at least looking at the run times of these tracks, the one kind of longer, more drawn out track that has big, like a big crashing final movement as this one does. So I'm curious to see if we're going to get other songs like it or have that other final kind of bridge section into this grand finale, similar to how Cheerleader Russian Roulette were. So I'm very curious. Also, yeah, I'm very curious to know how we're going to go into this. We're getting through the stuff that we've already heard, and so we're finally going to be getting into some new stuff that we haven't heard up to this point yet, very, very soon. And so, but yeah, up to this point, narratively, I just want to quickly talk about of the four singles, Porter is doing a brilliant job of really nailing down this idea of these things that people think about all the time, but think about it in a new way. Of think about the parasocial relationship and how he feeds off of it and how he actually needs some of that relationship too, and kind of flips it 180 on its head and knock yourself out of just the idea of you can think whatever you want about me. You can think whatever you want. And then the whole thought of Russian Roulette of not killing yourself, of literally not actually, but also, yes, don't do that. But the idea of don't go so hard at one thing in particular or a multitude of things that you're losing out on relationship, you're losing out on family, you're losing out on kissing your cat one more time, playing your songs one more time, thanking your dad one more time. That don't get so caught up in being like a workaholic is kind of the thing that Porter, I think, mainly talks about here. And so this is, if anything, a calling cry for him to himself to go, don't get caught up in all this stuff. Yes, have fun, go out and do this stuff, but also remember who you are at the beginning and what you want to accomplish and who you want to be. So I love the song. I think it's great, but let's hop into some new stuff. Perfect Pinterest Garden is both the release single from this album of sorts here and also the shortest track. So I'm very curious to hear what we're going to get here. We are finally moving into some new stuff that we have not heard yet. Here we go. This is Perfect Pinterest Garden. Okay, fun vocal chops. It's a fat bass line. Very coastal vibe to it.
I don't need my fucking money. I need you to pretend just to say, somebody's gotta say the things I'm trying not to say. You said,
oh, those chimes are fun.
let's turn around.
Oh.
Darling, I know a place where I won't be spotted. A perfect Pinterest on the streets, 'cause you tell me you love me. Maybe not to say, somebody's gotta say the things I'm trying not to say. Somebody's gotta say the things I'm trying not to say.
Wow, okay. Perfect Pinterest Garden. Very fascinating track. I'm very curious now stylistically where we're going production-wise. Because this had a very summer coastal beach vibe to it. I felt this actually reminded me a lot of the 1975, which is a band that I enjoy from time to time. And so it reminds me a lot of those kind of indie bands. This is an indie track. The idea, this isn't indie pop, this isn't indie-tronica, this is indie. This is what that sound is. And so I know a lot of people are going to enjoy this one in particular. And so, yeah, really fun. That is, indie often has this classic, just guitar, simple guitar that's very, well mixed, that is very strong and firm in the mix without being too overwhelming, but also plays a nice supporting role. And it has that really nice bit, dense bass line in the back there that kind of kicks it up another notch. And it kind of just has that rhythmic nature to it that feels like a very indie style song, an indie track. And so, Stylistically, I'm so curious to see where that's going to go. Narratively, I'm still a little lost on what we're trying to say on this one in particular. I won't be someone that just says, I think I know exactly what it is and put off the first bat, because sometimes they take multiple listens to kind of know what the motive is here, what the narratives are trying to be. And so I'm interested to see. My idea of like this like perfect Pinterest garden is kind of an oxymoron, because like the Pinterest is like, it's all the digital stuff. And so when you have this perfect like garden, it's like this perfect digital frontier. It's like this digital, like board. Like I think the idea of the song title is the idea that you externally showcase a really nice social media presence. Everything looks clean. It looks great in a similar way that back in the olden day, without like a ton of internet stuff, a garden would be like, someone would walk by and say like, oh, that garden is amazing. They must have everything well put together and they must be a great family, something like that. Just like kind of stereotypically what you think of when you walk past like a garden. So I think the idea of this like kind of perfect Pinterest garden is I'm showing this just in social media now, rather than it being a physical actual thing that you can see. This is the digital space of things. So. And he's talking about, I just think like off the fans, like just first off the bat, I don't care if you buy it, I just want you to pay is brilliant, because like a lot of artists have real sentiments like that. A lot of them really do. And it's just like, I just want your money for the most part. And so I don't think that's obviously not what Porter's talking about here, but I think kind of taking this backseat of this idea of like this first verse and maybe even second verse a little bit of like, I just taking on the role of someone that just cares about their online presence, that just cares about what you give to them rather than what they take from you or something like that. So just the idea of, this is, I want your money. I want your stuff. I don't care if you like it. I don't care, whatever. Just get it and make myself look better. And so I think it's kind of fun. So. But yeah, that's perfect Pinterest garden. Let's hop into the next track here. I really enjoyed that one, but Year of the Cup and our last explicit track here. It's interesting title, very interesting title. So here we go. This is Year of the Cup.
Nobody knows what's in the cup. That's the whole thing. Unless you come up and drink what's in my cup, then
that's Lil Wayne.
It's a beautiful thing. Also, a cup.
Interesting. Yeah, that's an interview from Lil Wayne, I guess. That was a snippet from a Lil Wayne interview.
First time you were disappointed, I spewed out that irresponsible mantra.
People, fuck you, and whatever was in my cup, suck my dick. I'm gonna keep drinking it.
Hearing that Porter song is crazy.
Something's in the air like vanilla. I got on my Facebook, and that time I had the courage to call her.
Trying to say, yeah, he should have put the cup down. Why? What did he do wrong? Name it. He was on 60 Minutes with Katie Curry. Was you? No. I mean, people understand that. Don't judge me. Yes.
On stage, it's embarrassing. Fuck you. You don't deserve me. The bus went totally silent, and help me was what I meant to say as I gnashed my teeth right in front of you.
Yeah, I kind of put the cup down for a minute, but
To me was obvious. Hate this version of me that was safe and sanitized thoroughly. You think
what's in the cup? Is it really none of my goddamn business?
Interesting. Okay. Year of the Cup. Fascinating track, and the first kind of real, more somber, reflective track of the album at this point. That's a very also common Porter, I wouldn't say trope up to this point, but he very often has these more sentimental, really tackling a heavy subject in some capacity, and this seems to be that one. Year of the Cup, really like kind of, there's a lot going on here, and I think first of all, production-wise, I think the track is really interesting because it's very raw. We've had these very digitized, very synthesized sounds up to this point, and this is very raw with the simple acoustic guitar, the mic that's crackling from time to time, and this interview kind of format from Lil Wayne that is very also like intentionally processed to make it sound a little bit more raw. And Porter's vocals are pretty clean here in terms of being without real much like processing or a ton of layering or harmonizing. It's just a pretty clear cut, like this is just almost straight out of the mic style of vocalization here. And so that really adds to the real kind of, somberness of this track and the getting to that narrative here of what's in the cup. And so I love this idea of taking this Lil Wayne interview about saying what's in the cup and this making it feel like it's some kind of magic potion where someone feels like, or at least Lil Wayne at some point says that like it makes him a superstar. He learned to do all this stuff. He learned to do all that. And he like became what he was because of what's in the cup. And I don't think it necessarily matters what's in the cup. It's just that this is his magic potion. Like this is the thing that lets him go the extra mile and be who he is. But then realizing the kind of drawbacks of that not really being themselves, not being yourself. And you kind of drink the potion and you drink it and drink it and drink it. And you realize that it's becoming you. It's turning you into something you're not. And so Porter kind of talks about here about yelling on the bus of saying like, I am the best here essentially. And being like, oh my gosh, like having that realization after that, I've drunk my own Kool-Aid. I've hit the point now where I feel like, or Porter feels like specifically, like I've hit a tipping point where this isn't me anymore. That realization that I've drank my own Kool-Aid, that I've gone too far over the edge of this like ego mania, this like thinking of myself as the greatest thing alive, and that's the reason everyone's here. And so I like it a lot. I think it's great. I think it's really fun. I think it's a real somber look into like even just life on tour for the most part for a lot of artists, and how sometimes as level-headed as you can be. And I think for the most part, Porter is super level-headed. I mean, a lot of these tracks already have this narrative that is very personable and gets to the core of who he is. But he can still lose it himself. He can go on an ego trip and he can be not who he wants to be, and that can happen to the best of them. And so I like it. It's pretty fun, and I'm excited to hear what we got going up. So next up is indeed Kitsune Maison Freestyle, which was the final single released a week before this album came out. So let's hop into Kitsune Maison Freestyle. The classic bridge section.
I felt like, if I grow out my eyelashes, or if I get a haircut, or if I get Estee Lauder night serum or whatever.
Trying not to feel.
Okay, Kitsune Maison Freestyle was the final single released up to this point of the record. And this was probably, I would say, my least favorite of the singles released up to this point, as it really did kind of just feel like a more level track. It felt like it didn't really have these grand, sweeping, big movements, and that's totally fine. I think a lot of this record will have won't have these big, grand, sweeping motions. And so, but yeah, this is a fun one. This narratively talks a lot about the idea of, Like, we wear clothes that make us feel good. Like, not gonna lie, I put on a suit, I feel good. But at what point does that become similar to the last kind of track here, the identity of who we are? And like, this isn't like, I'm still me. I'm still Dakota without the suit on. I'm still like Bowtied without the suit on. And when does that sort of become like take over my identity? And I think that's a perfect point in what Porter talks about here, especially with the teeth thing, where he says like, I was hating my teeth for a moment, and then you like get them things fixed and get it done, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm losing now part of me. I have the teeth that my mother gave me. Like, this is just like, I've now lost this part of me because I felt like in the moment that was what's going to make me feel better. And a similar style of where we talked about like someone taking the bag of like this girl trying to like thinks this bag would look good on her, but really wouldn't. And the idea that essentially when it comes down to it, like there are things that we wear that we think will make ourselves look better, but a lot of that confidence doesn't come from the clothes we wear. It comes from within. It comes from who we are. And so this is another kind of a sentimental refrain here of this one and Year of the Cup are a little bit more of a we're a little pulled back, a little bit more of a somber, more reflective moment of the record as we're halfway through at this point. So I enjoyed it. I think it's another great song, and it was my least favorite of the singles up to this point, but that's really good. And let's hop into our the back half of the record now. I guess that was kind of the back half, but the real back half, last final 4 songs we have not heard up to this point. So let's move things right along to the next track, Easier to Love You. Easier to Love You. I predicted earlier there wasn't going to be a love song. I'm curious to see if this is going to be it. So here we go. This is Easier to Love You. Oh, very strong guitar to kick things off. Got like a very alt-rock kind of intro here.
I put my suit on and I tied my tie. I look like someone I don't recognize. So much easier to love you if you could only see yourself like me. And I found a letter, dear future.
Really interesting narrative here.
Pick up painting, and I'll join the gym. I can't shake the much easier to love you.
I love the harmonization with the pitched up vocals.
See yourself like me. Lonely if you could only see yourself like me. Much easier to love you if you could only see yourself like me. And wouldn't it hurt much less when you were lonely?
Damn. Easier to love me. Okay. Or easier to love you, I should say. Wow. That's going to be a tearjerker for a lot of people, I think, for sure. That is brilliant. That is probably one of my favorite songs off the album. And it's not this explosive kind of more electronic song. This is a brilliant flip on the idea of this love song where you often say like the main line of the chorus is like, I wish you could like see the way, it's stereotypically in a love song, it's like, I wish the way you could see me the way I see you. You know what I mean? Like this is like, you're beautiful, you're all this, like I see you for this way, and that's how you should see yourself, like see you how I see you. But flipping it on its head and saying the way I see me, like the way you, like, it's just like, or no, sorry, the way you see me. Like, it's just like, it's such like a weird flip where it's now this like love song that is to himself. Like it's this it's this past and present coming together in one, and this love ballad that is truly a reflection of yourself and your feelings towards who you are as a person and your identity. And I think it's brilliant. I think that was brilliantly written. I think the production was incredible. I loved the very just like driving, just like simple like guitar and just like very sentimental and emotional. This feels like a late night kind of driving track or one that you just like belt out to yourself with a final little like synthesizer melody that just kind of hones it all in and brings it all to a final, this big final moment with the denouement at the end. And so just like this kind of just like, I don't even know. I feel like I don't have words to properly describe it, but that was a real feeler. Like that one's like a real feeler. And it's very, it hits, I think, a lot of people. Just the idea of like, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to take a painting. And then you get to the end, you're like, be disappointed in me. Like you get to this point and you're like, you're going to be disappointed, and you can be disappointed because sometimes you just don't hit those marks. And so there's a lot to unpack in that song. And so, man, I really love that track. That was beautiful. That was sentimental. That was one of Porter's best love ballads, and it's to him, it's to himself, it's to his future self. And the thing I think I love the most about that track is the layered vocals and how it comes in. It establishes this idea of talking to himself, and then it layers on these vocals where one is kind of the present and one is the past, and they come together in unison together, and it is brilliant. It is a masterclass of songwriting. So, but yeah. That's how I feel about that song. We got 3 more songs to get through. I can get through, but 3 more songs to listen through. And let's do it. This is the only feature of the album, with Frost Children. Here we go. This is Mona Lisa. I love that distorted guitar. Big swell. Wow. Okay. Mona Lisa. I really enjoyed that. That was really fun. I think that is a great feature, one and only feature of Frost Children here. I really don't know their stuff at all, but I feel like a lot of that guitar work and obviously the vocals here from, it says, I think Lulu Frost was their name. It really... It's great. This is not what I expected. When I first was gonna put on these headphones and listen to this album, this is not what I expected, and I'm loving this. Like, this was a real turn for me, going, oh, wait a second. No, this album, this is incredible. I love this era. This kind of like indie alt rock style is a style sound that I've been a little familiar with, that I enjoy from time to time, but not something that I primarily listen to. Obviously, electronic music is my main. And hearing this kind of fusion between the two is, oh, it's great for me. And so I'm very curious to hear what a lot of the opinions will be on this, because this is a sound that is right up my alley. This is there for me, and I'm really liking it up to this point. So yeah, I love the guitar work. I love the instrumentation here. I loved the back and forth vocals on that kind of final bridge or bridge section or whatever it was. And this narratively is very fascinating. The idea of like writing a sort of love song to like the Mona Lisa painting. The idea of this person that's just there, and like, am I just another, like it says, fucking face that comes through the door? Like, am I just another person that's walking by, and there's not like, where's that connection with you and the Mona Lisa? Like, is this a real thing? And just this what, still starlit? Is that what they call still life starlit? And just like, it's brilliant. Like, I'll wait for you, of this idea that I constantly, I guess, waiting for this person over and over again. And as I come through the door, like, am I just another face in the door? I'm still waiting. And yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more deeper meaning to this one. And it's one I obviously don't know on first listen here, but yeah. It's really great. If more than anything, I really love the production here. And I love the really just weird twist of this like love song to a painting of sorts, this like person from so long ago, from the Renaissance era, and how this is like this person, Mona Lisa, has been immortalized in this painting, and how you have this like connection with this person from years and years and years and stuff from the past. So really fascinating track, both narratively and production wise, from Porter Robinson specifically here. So I really like that. It's really fun. We got 2 more songs to go. So here we go. This is the next track. This is There Really No Happiness? Here we go. Kind of a sad title, not gonna lie. I've heard this before, right? I feel like I've heard this melody before.
To the butterflies around me, knowing I'd remember it accurately. Like a joke, I swear that
Was this in a teaser of sorts? This melody is familiar.
I want it to be wrong when it's over and done. Is there really no happiness without this feeling? Making love to the memory you remembered. How's that help me? Well, maybe it's my fault, 'cause I'm so nostalgic. There's some of my habits had you show how to change you. Oh,
interesting.
happiness without this feeling. Give me a drug. Oh, you love. Is there
Okay, is there really no happiness? Is a fun track. I keep saying that about every song, but this one is not what I expected, because this is more of that kind of Cheerleader Russian Roulette, very synthesized style of track that we hadn't really got up to this point. And there's really, up to this point, 3. We'll see what the last track is like, but songs that have this more old school leaning Porter style that is more geared towards the nurture, the world's fans, and the melding of those two sounds. Actually, you know, this could have been like a nurture style song. I think I felt like this could have been with maybe a little bit more of like a sporadic melody in some capacity. I feel like this would have been one that would have worked well off nurture. I think that synth sound just feels like it's from that kind of era, and so it's really fun. I think this is great. Another really solid track. This one's a little quicker, so 3:19 here, and so and I'm curious narratively here about this, because it talks about nostalgia in some area, but also this feels like it could be like his one love song to Rika here, and so I'm not really sure what this is necessarily, but yeah, there's a lot to unpack this narratively, and I don't think I have the full understanding of where the song was meant to go or meant to be of the first half or the first listen here. So I won't dive too deep into the narrative there. But yeah, I like the idea, at least to some extent, of looking back kind of at the old habits and nostalgia and kind of a look back and reflective of things, and the recognition of, is there the main mantra of the song is there no happiness without you here, about this feeling. And so depending on what that Porter's talking about, whether that's a person, whether that's a feeling, whether that's nostalgia as a holistic idea. But fascinating. This one I feel like is a little bit more tamer, as that makes sense also for a second last, a penultimate track that feels like it kind of gives a real setup to a finale. And speaking of which, let's hop into it. Here we go. This is the final track of Porter Robinson's new album, Smile. This is Everything to Me. Here we go. Not where I thought we were starting.
Hard signs, then it's over. It's over. For half my long life, you were with me. Saw me fondly. You don't know me, but you know me. 'Cause I have to, didn't want to, and it's you and me, and the air in between. It's everything to me.
Another just very raw, personal, intimate track. Not what I expected the closer to be.
If this is goodbye, if I won't see you again, maybe I'm addicted to the look in your eyes. It's hard to say you've had enough when you get this high. Feels the same when it's you and me, and the air in between. Oh, me. This seems like it's everything to me.
Okay, Everything to Me. That is the final track of this album, Smile. Porter Robinson. First of all, let's talk about the track. This is not how I expected the final track to go in this very, very intimate, somber final moment. We've had a couple tracks here throughout, but I expected the final one to be a little bit more upbeat. I don't know, I just felt like that's where it was going, but I do like where it ended. I like that this ended and really wrapped a nice little bow tie on the whole thing of this being Porter's real most personal, intimate album he has yet. Nurture Worlds was this whole like experimental style album of this structure of AI versus the world, and not versus, but the coming together and this kind of 1-2 punch of this kind of last person alive kind of storyline there of the end of the world and technology, where Nurture is this whole story of writing the world's album and how we feel like he couldn't do that again. And now this one is holistically looking at his career and who he is as a person. Not so much specifically, I think Nurture kind of tackled one moment in his life, where this record, I think Smile is holistically. And so this song in particular, I'm still talking about the song, not the whole album yet, is that kind of final stamp that kind of nails nail that is hit that goes, this is what it's about. The whole thing, if you don't hear anything else on this record, hear this song and hear what he's saying, because he spells it out pretty explicitly here. I'm just saying, like, it is this thing. Like, I don't know you, and I shouldn't say I love you, but it feels the same to me anyways. And just like this, like, if irony is a virtue, maybe I should be king, about the, I feel like real irony of him all throughout this record kind of complaining of sorts about these parasocial relationships and feeling like he doesn't have fans or his fans don't love him as much in different eras, and that this might be his last goodbye of some sort. And the irony is this album is a thing. Like, he's wrote this album about that feeling, and so it kind of works as an oxymoron of sorts. So really nice kind of final touch to the record, and it really does put a whole neat little bow tie on where the album was going. But final overall thoughts. What do I think about this record? Porter Robinson, Smile. First initial reaction, first thoughts. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I particularly love that Porter's really bending a lot of different styles and genres, where Worlds kind of had its sound and Nurture had its sound, and they kind of did a little bit of overlap here. But this record kind of is like a little bit of here and a little bit of there and way over here as well. And it comes back around and does these like love ballads that he's known for, but then also does it about himself, sings about himself here. And it's very personal. It's very, it gets to the core and root being of who Porter Robinson is and who he is as a person, as an entertainer, as a significant other, as everything. And this is the real like love letter to like the inner thoughts and inner minds of Porter Robinson. And I think it's brilliant. Production wise, there is a weird melding of this like bit pop. There's some electronic elements. There's some kind of indie. There's some like alt rock, these like acoustic sections, singer songwriter. Again, a little all over the place. And I think it actually worked really well. I think it was really fun, and I think it really adds to the fact that this record is Porter saying, I don't give a crap. I don't give a damn what you think I should do. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I think Porter learned that lesson through Nurture. He learned it through his last record and really is showcasing it, putting it on full display here of this is what I learned and I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow through on the execution, and I'm going to do a whole new thing, as Porter typically does on a brand new era of a sound of his. And so, this is great. This is really fun. There's a lot of songs here that took me by surprise on what I did not expect. Easier to Love You, I think it might be one of my favorite songs of the album, I must say. I really, really enjoyed it. I think it was fantastic. I think it really gets to that core point of what Porter's trying to get across and have this, I should say everything to me really does get that more so than anything. It spells it out. But in terms of kind of not being too on the nose, I think, Easier to Love You is a clear standout to me personally. I really loved it. And I like Mona Lisa a lot too. I think Mona Lisa is probably my second favorite of the new tracks. I think that kind of 1-2 punch works really, really well. And, even is There Really No Happiness also hits too, kind of has a little bit of a Cheerleader Russian Roulette vibe to it that kind of gets that kind of little bit more moving, a little bit more energetic. And so I just really like this. I'm so anticipatory to dive into the real of what Porter's trying to say. I can read the lyrics as I listen through the song as much as I can, but at some point there's so much more that I need to give multiple listens to really give a final concluding opinions on stuff and what I feel like the album is going and where it's going narratively, sonically, and all this kind of stuff. So a review, I think I'll put it at one point, and so I'm very curious just to see where this takes me. I don't want to, I don't want to give it like a numerical score, I would say right now, because that feels not right. It doesn't feel justified just giving it one full listen, because I've listened to the first 4 singles a ton. And so I feel like I got to give equal weight here. But this is fantastic. I would say this probably will be my least favorite of the 3 albums, just because Worlds is one of my greatest favorite albums of all time. I don't think anything really will ever beat that for the most part. There's some Daft Punk and stuff that does, but it's phenomenal. It's a trendsetter. It is what it is. And Nurture was amazing. And that kind of is more in my alley of what I like from Porter songs. All those singles were very, very high energy, high tempo, and still on the back end of that, having this, this narrative of, making Worlds isn't what I thought it was going to be. And I'm in this rut creatively and all that kind of stuff. So, but that's not to say I don't think this album is great. I think it's fantastic. I think it's really good. For context, I gave gave Worlds a 10 and I gave Nurture a 9 in my Bowtied score. But again, also those numbers are just arbitrary. It's your own thoughts on things. It is whatever. I like to do numbers just because, I dropped it. But I like to do numbers just because I do. That's just what I do. But But other than that, I am Dakota from Bowtied Media, and this has been my album. This has been my reaction to, the Porter Robinson album that has now fallen off my thing because I hit it, and I did so well. I told myself I was going to knock it over, but I did indeed. So without any further ado, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. Other than that, I'm Dakota from Bowtied Media, and I'll see you guys in another video.